Well, the war between Israel and Hamas has caused social media to be flooded with false and misleading information. So for more on this, we are joined by Sayan Saridina today. He is a senior reporter with BBC Verified as a fact-checking unit with the BBC, joining us today from Reading in the UK. Thank you, Cheyenne, for taking the time. I'm wondering if you could kind of put this into perspective for us. How much of an increase of misinformation have you seen since the beginning of this conflict?
I would say from the first hour of the conflict, there's been a deluge of false posts and misleading posts online on major platforms like Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the volume of it has been really overwhelming. And most of the false content that I've seen in the last couple of weeks has come from people and users who seem to be farming engagement, meaning they are trying to use this major event when people around the world are concerned about a conflict happening in the Middle East and are trying to go online on these social media platforms on the internet to try and find out what's going on, get the latest updates. There are people who are trying to post videos that are unrelated to the conflict, that are from past conflicts, that are from the Ukraine war, from the war in Syria, from even video games. And try to get engagement, because when you maximize your engagement on these platforms, not only do you raise your level of influence and you raise your followers, you can actually, on some platforms, can actually make money off of it. So that, in my opinion, the last 2 weeks has been the main driver and the main incentivizer of most of the false information that we've seen.
So walk us through, us and our audience here, if you can, how you were able sort of to debunk the incorrect information you see and verify the information that comes across your desk.
Yeah, so obviously as part of my job in BBC Verified, we have to go through tons and tons of videos when something like this happens in order to make sure that audiences are getting the latest information, content that is being posted by people on the ground, either in Israel or in Gaza, that is relevant to our news coverage. But at the same time, as we're going through all of that, we also see tons and tons of videos and content and images that are not true. And the way we check them, the way I check them personally, is first of all, if it is something that claims to be from Israel or Gaza, the first thing I pay attention to the video or the image and try to see whether it actually matches and looks the same as those two areas on satellite images or on Google Maps, for instance. And then I try to make sure that the content is actually posted on the day that it claims to be from, definitively from the 7th of October until today, when this conflict, the duration of this conflict. If it's from before 7th of October, obviously it's old footage and it's unrelated to what's been going on the last 2 weeks. If it is from the last 2 weeks, then you want to make sure who the source is. You want to find out who posted it, what the full context is. Is that video actually the entire video, or has it been edited? Has it been cut deceptively or with some political intention? So all of those things you put together, and after spending some time, you're hopefully able to find the full context and the source for a video and what it actually is supposed to show.
Shine, break it down for us if you can. What is perhaps one of the biggest claims that you have helped debunk here?
Well, there have been several, but I think one of the biggest ones that I saw was the second day of, 8th of October, the day immediately after the day that Hamas militants infiltrated Israel and unleashed an attack that resulted in between 1,200 or 1,300 deaths. There were tons and tons of rumors online that some senior Israeli generals and politicians had been taken hostage by Hamas militants. Now, we do know that Israeli citizens were taken hostage that day, but we didn't know whether any senior generals or politicians had been taken hostage as well. And then while those rumors were spreading, we saw a piece of video that went viral on TikTok and X and on Facebook. It had millions and millions of views, and it showed a group of 3 men being taken out of a car by a group of other men wearing military fatigues and in handcuffs being escorted. And it claimed to show Hamas militants taking Israeli generals to a place that belongs to Hamas, that was a secret place. And It claimed that those were Israeli journalists. We checked it and we found out that video was actually completely unrelated. It showed agents of the Azerbaijani State Security Service arresting separatist leaders in Karabakh, and had been posted on the 5th of October on their official YouTube channel. But it went really viral in that environment when people were sort of speculating online without much evidence that senior Israeli generals had been arrested.
Cheyenne, thank you so much. Cheyenne Sardar-Izadeh is a senior reporter with BBC Verify. Thank you very much for your time today.